Hello, and thank you for joining this webinar. So we'll actually start with the webinar in maybe a minute. I'm just waiting for everyone to join. But in any case, this webinar today is obviously intended for consultants. So if you're a consultant, I think you'll enjoy the webinar. Okay, while we are waiting, can you actually let me know where you are joining from? If you can let me know, your city and the country that you're coming from. And if you joined through Zoom, you can actually send this through the Q&A pane. And by the way, I'm joining in from Zagreb, Croatia. So I'd just like to know if possible, where you are joining from, just to see, from which countries the people are coming from. Anyway, while I'm waiting for your inputs, just a couple of notes. So first of all, we are recording this webinar, and you'll actually be able to see the recording at the same page where you registered. And by the way, I see people now letting me know. So from North Carolina, from USA, also England, Birmingham. Okay, great. Yeah, thanks for letting me know. Anyway, you'll be able to see the recording of the webinar on the same page where you registered. If you register on the Advisera page, if you are joining this webinar through LinkedIn, then you'll basically see the recording on the same page where you actually are watching the live webinar now. Same thing for YouTube. Okay, some more people are letting me know. So Maine, USA, also Lisbon, I assume Portugal. So great, thanks for letting me know. Yeah, I think we can start now. So welcome to the webinar, How to Get Ongoing Consulting Revenue from Clients. My name is Dejan Kosutic, and I'm the main ISO 27001 NIS 2 and DORA expert at Advisera. But I also deal a lot with consultants, so therefore I also have this webinar today. I was also a consultant myself, I would say a long time ago, but still very much in my memory. Anyway, so this webinar today is streamed through LinkedIn live events, YouTube live, but also through Zoom. And it will last, I would say, 50, 55, maybe 60 minutes. And I'll try to make it as interactive as possible. So, any questions that you may have, please do send them in, and you can actually send them throughout my presentation. So as I go through the slides, feel free to send your questions, and I'll answer them. We'll also have this Q&A session at the end. Good. Now let me go for the next slide. So I would say, finding new clients is really hard if you're a consultant, especially if you're a small consultancy, like, self-employed or maybe a couple of employees. It's really, it takes a lot of time to really find new clients. So by one estimate, it's roughly 30% of consultant time actually goes for finding new clients. And basically this brings me actually to the main point of today's webinar, and that is that actually these continuous or ongoing consulting jobs are something that you should consider if you're not considering already. Because actually these are the ones that can help you basically provide your work, do the consulting work without so much sales, because as I'll show you later on in the presentation, basically, if you have existing clients and some kind of recurring jobs, then you don't have to resell each time, right? So basically this webinar today is intended for consultants, obviously, but both for beginners and for experienced consultants, because I assume that anyone in the consulting business has to invest a lot of effort into selling. So this kind of change of thinking actually might help you with dedicate more time to actually doing the consulting and less for selling. Okay, so my basically main point today is that this kind of ongoing consulting jobs can actually, I think, actually have a greater revenue potential than these, let's say, more traditional one-off jobs. And I know that for some consultants this sounds, I would say, pretty incredible, but again, please stick with me during the presentation, and I'll show you why I think so. And by the way, this is a good occasion actually to show you the poll that I published on YouTube, on LinkedIn a week ago. And basically the question was, for smaller consultancies, what type of services offer the best revenue potential? And yeah, 21 votes. Actually, this one, outsourcing, for example, vCISO, and by the way, CISO stands for Chief Information Security Officer, vCISO stands for, let's say, Virtual Chief Information Security Officer. So basically this one actually came at 43%. Implementation projects, so this traditional approach is 33%, and actually ongoing training at 24%. Now, if you actually add these two items up, so ongoing training and outsourcing, this actually comes to basically almost 70%, right? So my point being here is, from this poll, it's also, I would say, pretty visible that people or consultants are looking towards these ongoing jobs as the main source of revenue, not something that is minor. Okay, going back to presentation. So let's see the agenda for today. And by the way, as I go through these bullets, let me know what actually would you like me to focus on the most. So if you like, if you prefer any of these topics, just send me a message through the question pane, and then actually I'll spend more time on this particular topic. Anyway, as the first slide, I'll be showing you some examples of these traditional one-time consulting jobs, and then I'll show you a couple of examples of these continuous consulting jobs. And then I'll show you actually what requirements from ISO standards and from some EU regulations actually support the need or generate the need for continuous consulting work. So this can also be one argument, or let's say one niche that you can use. And then I'll discuss, what is the potential, meaning financial potential for one-off versus continuous jobs. Then I'll give you a couple of tips on how you can actually present how you can sell these continuous services to clients. And then I'll show you a couple of Advisera's tools and also actually courses that you can use as consultants. Okay. Very well, let me move on then to the next slide. So what are some examples of these one-time jobs? I mean, I'm sure that you already know them, but I just want to present them so that I can actually differentiate them from these continuous jobs. So on the left-hand side, you can see these traditional, I would say, one-time jobs. Okay, gap analysis. So gap analysis you typically do let's say for a larger client, before you actually start with the implementation job. It gives you a very good, it gives the client a very good, let's say, overview of, how far are they from being compliant, what kind of resources they need, and so on. But this is done one time, right? It's done only one in a company before you start the main project. Of course, implementation project. Let's say the client wants to be compliant with ISO 27001. You come in as a consultant and help them become compliant. You do basically everything from let's say holding them step by step through the whole process, writing documents, doing the analysis, like risk assessment, these kind of things, helping them with internal audit, helping them with management review, corrective actions, all of these things. And by the way, I'll be mentioning throughout this webinar, I'll be mentioning ISO 27001 because this is the standard I'm the closest with. But basically everything that I say in this webinar today also is valid for other, consultancies that are dealing with other standards like ISO, 22301 for business continuity, but also ISO 9001 for quality, or 14001 or 45001 or 42001 now, the AI standard and so on. Okay, and then you can do for the client this initial risk assessment, right? You're basically assessing all the risks and so on. But again, this is done one time. It's not something continuous. You can do some initial training. Basically, you explain them what the standard is about, and so what are, the most important roles and responsibilities, these kind of things. You could also do some kind of a certification preparation for a client. So once they complete the implementation, then you're checking out if everything is done, and just to make sure that the certification goes smoothly. So all of these things are, I would say, very normal things, very traditional things the consultants do. But again, the problem is once you complete this kind of job, you're done, right? You get paid. Hopefully you get the money. But after that, you have nothing else to do with this client. Okay, on the other hand, on the right hand side, you have several examples of these potential continuous consulting jobs. So ISMS maintenance, okay, ISMS information security management system, but again, the same thing is applicable to, let's say, QMS, quality management system, or I don't know, EMS, environmental, or AIMS, which is for 42001 and so on. So basically, this is where you can actually perform various continuous activities for a client. If you're doing this, let's say, ISMS maintenance, then you can do also the internal, as part of this package, you can do internal audit, management review, you can do the review of the risk assessment, you can do maintenance of their documents, you can help them with various matrix and dashboards and reporting, these kind of things. So basically, you as a consultant can simply have this kind of an arrangement where you, I don't know, work for, when you invest, I don't know, a certain number of hours per week or maybe per month. And, after the company gets certified, you're simply maintaining their management system. Or another option is that you do only the internal audit. So they do not need you for maintenance. They only want you to do the internal audit, and then you come once a year, or let's say twice a year, and you do the internal audit. And just to go back to this maintenance, the first bullet here. So basically, who could be actually the target companies for this maintenance of a management system? This is typically very good for very small companies. If there are, let's say, a couple of employees, maybe 10 employees, then very often they don't have, let's say, enough resources, to keep track of all of the things that they have to do. Internal audit, I would say it's a very good, the target audience could be companies, let's say up to 50, maybe up to 100 employees that, very often these companies cannot find, let's say, someone within the company to do the internal audit. So these kind of companies, let's say small to maybe a little bit mid-size, they could be very good targets for internal audit. You could also do second-party audits. Second-party audits are not very common, I would say, if you're implementing ISO 27001 or, I don't know, ISO 9001, but they are more common if a company complies with NIS2 or if a company complies with DORA. Because I'll show you this later on in the next slide. There are very strict requirements, especially for DORA, to perform third-party or second-party audits, right? And in this case, actually, I know a couple of consultants that are specifically focused on doing second-party audits. So they do nothing but second-party audits, which, by the way, stands for audits of suppliers. Okay. So it's also a very nice niche because, especially if you're a large organization, you have lots of suppliers, you want to audit them, it's lots of work to do. Another thing that could be a continuous job is security awareness. Okay. Especially if a company needs to comply with the 27001 or DORA or NIS2, all of these frameworks require companies to do this continuous security awareness. And again, this is something that that needs to be done, I would say, on continuous basis. This is not something you can do once and never again. And this also provides an opportunity for consultants. And finally, this vCISO or let's say outsourced security manager. By the way, this could also be outsourced. I don't know, maybe AI officer for 42001, or maybe, I don't know, business continuity manager for 22301. These kind of things. So then, basically, this person does, I would say, not only these elements of management, doesn't only handle elements of a management system, then this person actually actively participates in the coordination and the management of all the activities. So I would say this vCISO or this outsourced manager is also something that actually I would say this is the where you actually go the deepest into the company and basically become part of their almost regular employees. Of course, if you're part-time, you can't be a regular employee, but then you actually become a part of their I would say normal operations. And by the way, later in the webinar, we'll share you this link with this Secure and Simple podcast that I'm doing. And in this podcast, actually, I did one interview with one CISO that is doing only this. He's only this, a fractional CISO. So basically, he actually performs the CISO role for a couple of companies. And it's a very, very good business. So you should definitely look into this because it's something that I would say is pretty profitable. Anyway, we'll share now with you this link to an article. It's called How to Maintain the ISMS After the Certification, just to kind of get an idea of all the things that need to be done continuously, and therefore what the consultant can actually help with the client. By the way, if you're dealing with some other standards, you will see similar things there, internal audits, management reviews, all of these things. So again, this is pretty valid for any other standard. Okay, if you joined the webinar through Zoom or through YouTube, then you can simply click on this link will open. If you joined through LinkedIn, then because of some limitations in LinkedIn, you can't really click the link. But you can actually copy the link and paste it into your browser. So anyway, take a look at this chat window and you will see this link to this article. Okay, good. Now let's move on. And yeah, by the way, in my last webinar there was some problem with opening the links. So I hope today these links will work fine. But if you can't open the link, just let me know. Okay, good. Yeah, 𝗏𝗲𝗴𝗏 is asking, please elaborate more on outsourced AI officer, role types of clients. So basically, again, if you have as a client a very small company that goes for the ISO 42001, right, the AI management standard, then someone needs to perform the role of, let's say, coordinator for, let's say, AI governance, right? And if they simply don't have enough time or enough knowledge to handle this kind of work, then you can simply be an outsourced AI officer or AI governance officer for that company. And you can actually do all the things that they have to do to maintain their compliance with ISO 42001. And by the way, maybe this is a good occasion now. We're working now on launching ISO 42001 courses. So in about, let's say 2 weeks from now, what you will see on our website that we will launch 4 courses for 42001. So these will be the foundations course, internal auditor course, lead auditor and lead implementer course for ISO 42001. Okay. Andrew is asking, what's the clear difference between terms first-party audit, second-party audit, third-party audit? First-party audit is internal audit. First-party because you report to your own management, right? This is why it's first-party. Second-party is audit of suppliers. Why? Because you basically hire an auditor that will report back to your management. So basically this is why it's second-party. Third-party audit is a certification audit because the results of the audit are published publicly, right? So this is why it's a third party. Okay, good. Now let's move on to the next slide. So let's see some requirements from ISO standards and from EU regulations that actually support this logic of actually that actually require companies to maintain and to do things continuously, and therefore where you can actually find some kind of a niche for you as a consultant. So for maintenance, there are clauses 4.4, 6, 7, 9, and 10, right? And actually, let me share the screen now with these clauses. So what I'll show you now is this. This is what you'll find on Advisera website. This is a big guide to ISO 27001 clauses. And we've shared now the link with you through this chat window, so you can open it yourself. Anyway, what you'll see here is a list of all the clauses and explanation of these clauses. So I was saying that 4.4 is a relevant one. So when I open this link, I'll open it in a new tab. Here you will see an explanation of this clause. You will see the documentation that is needed, and you will see suggestions on how to implement this clause and what kind of audit evidence is needed. Okay. Anyway, this is available for each of these clauses. Anyway, 4.4 is about information security management system. So basically, this is a general clause that requires you to implement the whole ISMS. I also mentioned clause 6. This is about planning. Basically, this is about risk management and setting the objectives, especially here about risk assessment. So you need to maintain and review risk assessment and treatment. Clause point 7, especially the part about documented information. You have to maintain these documents. You have to do these awareness as well. You have to do this continuously and so on. I mentioned also clause 9 about monitoring, measurement, analysis, evaluation. Clause 9.2 internal audits, 9.3 management review. So again, for internal audits, you can provide the service to them. For internal management review, you can prepare all the materials for the management review, and of course for monitoring measurement, you can actually do all these dashboards and so on. Okay, good. Basically, these are the clauses from for this related to maintenance. Let me go back to the slide. Okay, let me just put this on the screen. Okay, so clause point 9 clause 9, as I mentioned, this is around internal audit. Second party audits, control 5.22, it's about checking the suppliers in the supply chain. So basically this is the one. Security awareness, clause 7.3, and basically this VC, so if you do it, it's basically all clauses, right? So it's something that then is relevant. I mean, you have to handle all the clauses as part of, let's say, if you're acting as a virtual CISO. Okay, I have a question from Edward. Can you drop Advisera a similar link for 9001? We don't have this one. So we don't have such a detailed description of 9001, only for 27001 for now. Okay, now for NIS2, let me just briefly show you what is interesting for NIS2. So let me switch back to this here. You'll find the full text of NIS2 directive also on Advisera website. So you'll see the link in a second in the chat window. Anyway, here you have this article 21. So let me just browse here, click and open. And here you have several requirements on training. Let me see if I can find this very quickly. Okay, it should be somewhere. Cyber risk management. Aha, it's in article actually 20. So if we go for 20, there you have several requirements related to training on a regular basis, right? So basically it's very clear, it has to be done continuously. Then when it comes to maintenance, yeah, there are several security measures that need to be actually performed, and then basically this is something that has to be done continuously, maintained and so on. There is also requirements for, let's say, handling third parties. So basically it's here, so that basically companies need to check, the quality of the products, practices, secure development procedures, these kind of things. So going back to the presentation. So as you can see here, there are various articles which basically are kind of that are relevant for maintaining and some continuous activities. Andrew is asking, if a client conducts an audit, is it a third-party audit? So third-party audit is a certification audit. So it's as simple as that. If a company goes for a certification audit, then this is a third-party audit. If a company audits its own supplier, then this is a second-party audit. Okay, yeah, for 𝗂𝗲, again, I'm not sure if you're dealing with 𝗂𝗲, but 𝗂𝗲 is a very interesting framework, especially for consultants. It's very detailed. It has many more requirements than, you know, either NIS2 or ISO 27001. So there is a lot of, I would say, knowledge and skills needed to really handle 𝗂𝗲. The problem with 𝗂𝗲, it's strictly related to financial industry in Europe. Basically, you know, if you are a consultant and if you have some experience with financial entities, meaning, you know, like let's say brokerage houses, investment banks, regular banks, I don't know, insurance companies, these kind of institutions, then this could be a great opportunity for you. Good, so let me just briefly show you 𝗂𝗲. Again, you have a full text of 𝗂𝗲. We'll share also now a link with you to this full text. And yeah, here there are different various articles there. I'll just show you a couple of them. So let's say 13. Article 13 is about learning and evolving. And basically it says here, it's pretty lengthy because again, 𝗂𝗲 is very detailed. And here, you see a report at least yearly on the findings. So again, this is kind of a continuous activity, but there is also some you know, specific requirements on continuous learning and so on. So you can take a look at on your own once you find time. Okay, let's go back to my presentation. So as you can see, there are several articles referenced here, and you can check these out. Anyway, if you're acting as a CISO, which actually there are some financial entities which are too small to have their own CISO, and yes, this could be a very, very good business for you. In this case, you would have to, you know, handle all of these chapters 2, 3, and 4, and 5. All right, now let me move on to the next slide, and this is, you know, if we can actually compare the, I would say, let's say financial opportunity here between them. Let's see how this would look like. Okay, so for one-time jobs, you would definitely, I mean, the amount of money that you would get through one-time jobs is certainly bigger per job than compared to, let's say, continuous jobs. So if you do the whole implementation of ISO 27001, you certainly earn, I don't know, 5 or maybe 10 times more money than if you do only the, let's say, internal audit. Okay, this is true. However, because of that problem, you will have less clients, right? For these one-time jobs, you will have bigger clients, but not so many of them. Okay, you will have fewer of them. And as I mentioned earlier, you will have higher sales costs because, as it says here, keeping a constant pipeline is hard, right? It's hard to get actually it's hard to keep coming. I mean, as you already know, it's hard to keep these bigger jobs coming all the time. It's not as easy. I mean, sometimes you will be lucky and you will get a couple of jobs in a row, but then it might happen that you're having nothing for a month or two. This is simply how the things are. It says here hard to plan the delivery of consulting services. Why? Because if you have, let's say, 2 bigger jobs at the same time, it's very hard to actually kind of balance between them because you might have conflicts in your schedule, and it will be hard. And then again, you know, if you have a client, so the point is you can't have too many bigger jobs in parallel. This is really impossible because then you would simply have to sometimes you would have to be late with clients, and this is really not a good idea. So the point is, you know, it's very hard actually to have too many clients at the same time, which means that if any of your clients actually is starting to delay, then you have nothing to do, right? Because you can't take too many clients on. One is starting to delay, and you have then a gap which you can't cover with anything else. On the other hand, if you have these continuous jobs, you have, first of all, several smaller clients, okay? So if you can do, let's say, maybe 2 or 3 clients, bigger clients, let's say within one quarter, you can do, of these continuous jobs, you can do, I don't know, 10, 15, maybe even 20, okay? Second thing, there is no sales cost after you initially sell them this service. Because if you become, for a company, if you become an internal auditor, they will keep you calling back every year, right? You don't have to sell this. You just maybe have to remind them that this is not really selling. If they're satisfied with how you did the internal audit job last time, they will simply invite you, and this is it. No selling there. Similar thing if you're doing, I don't know, second party audits, I mean supplier audits. Similar thing if you are doing continuous awareness sessions for them. You might do these awareness sessions, I don't know, once a year, or you might use some kind of a tool that you do this basically on a every week level, right? I'll show you actually one tool which you can use for these awareness sessions. If you're working as a CISO, I mean virtual CISO, again, you're basically in a contact, if not on a daily basis or at least on a weekly basis, and you're constantly there. You don't have to sell because you have a contract which is simply recurring. It's easier actually to plan it, and you have bigger flexibility. If you have so many smaller jobs, then you can actually make it more easily. It's actually not harder, it's more easy, because then it becomes, you can actually fill these gaps with something that you can do for a client. So let's say that you're doing, I don't know, 2 internal audits, you're doing one job as a VC, so you're doing a couple of, I don't know, awareness trainings. You know, if simply one client calls off the internal audit and reschedule this for another week, you can simply fill this gap with a couple of other clients for that day that is now left free. So it's much actually easier to kind of balance between the clients. And finally, it's easier for remote work, because of course for these one-time jobs you could do everything remotely, but if you already have built your trust with your clients, then it's easier actually to work remotely for these continuous jobs, which also, I mean, adds to let's say your lifestyle, right? So it's you're spending less time traveling and these kind of things. Okay, good. Yeah, let me. I see a question from Milton. So Milton is asking, will we get a copy of this presentation? Yeah, at the end of the webinar, I'll explain you how you can get the presentation. Good. Yeah, we'll share actually 2 links with you now for 2 articles. The first article is 3 phases of delivering an ISO 27001 consulting job. So if you are just kind of a beginner, this will give you an idea on you know, what you actually have to do as part of these regular implementation jobs. And the second one is a webinar on how to perform consulting work remotely. So if you're interested in this remote work, then you can take a look at this other webinar which explains this in more detail. Okay, good. Now let me move on to the next slides. And this is about how actually you can sell your continuous job to your clients, or how can you basically let them know that this is something that you do. First of all, you know, you should focus on mandatory activities, right? So you should basically tell them, look, if you want to maintain your 27001 compliance, then, you know, you have to do internal audits, management reviews, I don't know, reporting, I mean, measurement and reporting, you have to do, I don't know, this and that. And, you know, then you actually emphasize that these are the things that they have to do if they want to, you know, maintain their certificate. Second, if you're already engaged with them in this initial bigger implementation job, then basically you should not wait until this implementation job finishes to actually present them something else. No, what you should be doing, you should educate them during the implementation job, telling them, look, guys, when I'm gone and you get certified, you'll have to do this and this and this and this and this as the maintenance. And don't worry, you don't have to sell there, because they will ask you, okay, I mean, in many cases, they will ask you, can you help us with this? And then, of course, you will say, yes, of course. So the point is, you have to educate them what comes after the implementation job is closed. Of course, you always have to let the client know that you provide not only these one-time consulting jobs, but also these continuous ones. So let's say that you are negotiating with the clients for the big implementation job for compliance with, I don't know, ISO 42001. And then you basically say, okay, look, my implementation activities are these, and this is the cost and so on. But you make sure that you actually add another section saying, these are my maintenance services after the initial job is done. They're probably not going to go for this right away, but this is actually how you start, embedding into their mind that this is also something that for A, needs to be done, B, that's something that you offer. So, you're kind of pre-selling this idea that this is needed and that you might be the one to actually help them with this. Also, when you do any kind of presentation as to a potential client for the implementation job, add one slide where you say, look, I'm also providing these maintenance activities because this is something that you might need as well. It doesn't hurt because it's only one slide. And again, it actually makes you more competent because it shows actually the diversity of the services that you're offering. And of course, once you finish this implementation job, it doesn't have to be that they will accept your maintenance work right away, or these continuous, that they will give you this continuous contract right away. There will probably be some gap of, I don't know, a couple of months, maybe 6 months, maybe 10 months before they realize that they have to go for a surveillance audit. But in this meantime, you actually have to, communicate continuously with them. Every now and then send them some kind of a newsletter, or send them some kind of post on LinkedIn, these kind of things. You might meet them at some gatherings, social gatherings, these kind of things. And every time that all of these are actually occasions where you can present them some, let's say, pieces of knowledge around, I don't know, internal audit or something like this. Good. Let me now show you a couple of tools actually from Advisera that will help you as consultants and especially with these maintenance services. So let me first show you this beginner's course for consultants. And actually this is the course that I made, and this one is on YouTube. So you can sign up for this course. It's primarily made for beginners. Steps to start a consulting business, how to define your niche, what kind of training and certifications you need, how do you find the know-how, how to package services, how to price services. This is what I'm being asked very often. How to find first clients, how to build personal brand, these kind of things. You also have, how to run implementation projects, how to run training projects, how to manage audit projects. So if you're interested in doing the internal audit or I don't know, second party audits, these are good lessons, these kind of things. So anyway, you can you don't have to actually sign up for anything here. These are videos on YouTube. You can watch them without any registration. Good. Now, besides this course, we also have this advanced course for consultants. So this one is intended for consultants that already have experience, let's say a couple of years of experience in consultancy business. Here you need to register on Advisera webpage, but still it's free, so you don't have to pay anything. And I'll show you the curriculum. There are 4 modules. The first one is about strategy and growth, how to scale, creating consulting services with ongoing revenue. It's very similar to what I was speaking in today's webinar, so you can skip this lesson here. Competing with big firms, how to stand out, future of consulting, especially in terms of AI, avoiding burnout. Then the second module is about marketing and sales. So a little bit more about, some techniques on how to improve your selling. Marketing and sales pipeline for generating leads, using LinkedIn, using YouTube, converting clients, and demonstrating ROI and business value to clients. And then this third module is about ethical professional conduct, lean approach to ISO implementation, handling difficult clients, involving senior management, delivering consulting or jobs remotely, and evidence collection because of certification. And then business transformation, managing culture and change. So basically this is how we manage change in the companies, especially, you know, if you have some kind of blockers within the company when you start implementing things. Anyway, you can sign up for this course for free. But again, this is for consultants that already have at least a couple of years of experience. Okay, and then there are some other tools that I wanted to show you. This what I'm showing you here is this 𝗂𝗲𝗶𝘀𝗀. So basically this is a small GRC tool, so a small governance, risk and compliance tool for ISO 27001, or we can simply call it ISO 27001 software. Basically the idea here is that you as a consultant can use it for to handle ISO 27001 projects for your clients. As you can see, here is a dashboard where you can see where you can have a couple of clients. So as many clients as you want, you can have, I don't know, we have consultants already with more than 10 that handle more than 10 clients with 𝗂𝗲𝗶𝘀𝗀. And basically once you actually enter into a particular client, it takes you step by step through this whole process. Now, what I wanted to show you here, there is also a module for maintenance, and basically tells you exactly what are the recurring activities, continuous activities that you have to do. So it also helps you not only in the implementation phase, but also in the maintenance phase. And we've sent you now this link for this 𝗂𝗲𝗶𝘀𝗀 for consultants. You can actually see, you also have the links to these courses. We've already shared these in the chat window. We also share now a link to a YouTube video, and in this YouTube video I actually explain in more detail how this 𝗂𝗂𝗶𝘀𝗀𝗀 for consultants works, you can actually watch this video to get all the details. Another thing that you can do continuously are trainings or let's say awareness sessions, security awareness sessions, these kind of things. So again, we have this other product which is called Company Training Academy. And I'm showing you this consultant version, which is also white labeled. As you can see here, you have some, I don't know, logo of your consultancy. It's you can insert any logo, and here you have a list of all of your clients. And when you actually enter a particular client, then you can see, as you can see again, this is for a client dashboard, and this is a logo from the consultancy. Again, you can upload your own logo here. And then you actually create training programs for your client, right? And basically I'll show you what kind of lessons are here. So just give me a second. You have lessons for 𝗨𝗲𝗏, for GDPR, cybersecurity. This is for cybersecurity awareness, NIS2 27001. And you can also upload your own videos, your own PDF presentations, your own PowerPoint presentations, your own PDF documents. So you can upload anything and then create your own materials. And then what you do is basically you create very easily distribute these videos or materials to the client employees. So I'll show you this. It actually takes only a minute or two. So set up a new training, and then you basically select the framework. Let's say I want to do a security awareness training. I want to do a security awareness training for, let's say, members of the security committee. And then I click continue. I select the language. As you can see, several languages are available here. And then I also have to select, let's say this, continue. And then actually the system automatically suggests you the videos for these people, right? So basically you see several videos that are relevant for this type of people. Of course, you can remove videos, you can, I don't know, rearrange them, whatever you want. Let me show you this then. Then you can, by the way, of course, you can see a preview, right? So you can see how these videos look like before you start sending them. Oops. I'm not sure why this happens. Maybe a problem with the server. Okay, here you go. So social engineering. Okay, and then once you click continue, you define actually how often you want these employees to see this. So let's say one per day will probably be too much. So let's say one per week, or let's say one every 2 weeks. And then you want them to see this on, let's say, Thursdays. And when you click continue, then you enter your email address. Of course, you can enter email addresses of many people here. It's already used. Let me then use something like this. And then you can actually define what you want them to see. Do you want them to see only the lessons, or lessons and quizzes, or lessons and quizzes and test questions? And then you basically start the campaign, you start the training, and then these videos, and then the system will start sending these notifications to these employees in the sequence that you have defined. In this case, this would be once every 2 weeks. And then you basically track very easily, how these people were watching this, and if they watched it, and so on. So very effective tool actually for doing a continuous work for, let's say, awareness raising or for training for your clients. Okay, this is what I wanted to show you. Also wanted to show you this marketplace for consultants. So basically here we have this ISO consultant directory, and we have several consultants here. So basically what you can do is you can list your name here. Actually, we do not charge anything for this, and here you might actually get some new clients through this directory. So because the clients can actually sort you and filter by specific standard, let's say 27001. And then you can also filter by, let's say, a country. And then, okay, there is no one in 27001 in Austria, but there might be in Australia. Oops, no. Okay, let me see. Yeah, okay, here are some consultants that we have for 27001 in Australia, right? So anyway, this is how, this is publicly available, and then someone might contact you. Okay, we've shared you the links to all of these tools. So we've sent you the links to Company Training Academy, also to our YouTube video, which explains how this Company Training Academy works, and also to this consultant directory. Okay, good. Now let me go back to my presentation. Yeah, I think I've covered everything. Okay, just to go through a couple of challenges that I received from consultants. There is a challenge of lack of understanding of the continued management review as input to surveillance audits as a mandatory requirement. Yeah, so very often, I mean, this is true. Very often clients simply don't understand that they have to maintain their certificate, right? They think that, I don't know, once they implement the standard and get certified, then this is it. They can simply forget about it. And I mean, if you're doing the implementation job for those clients, it's really of crucial importance that you educate them, right? Okay, so once you certify, it's not finished, you have to do this and this and this. You always have to repeat all of these things to them, because this is for the way for your clients to understand this. And again, you always have to tell them, look, you will have these surveillance audits. If you don't maintain, you will fail, these kind of things. Okay, getting them to understand the importance of necessity of ongoing investment in cybersecurity. So basically this is, I would say, mainly related to risks. You have to explain how the risks are changing, what kind of new threats are continuously appearing, and basically that they need to not only reevaluate their risk assessment on, let's say, periodic basis, but they also have to invest into some new controls whenever they find some risks that are not covered. Keeping alignment with the ever-changing customer context as a part of the current business dynamics. Okay, so basically, of course, the context of the company will change. I mean, they will change internal structures, they will change the people, they will change processes, I don't know, products, external environment will change, yes. And these things are, let's say, relevant for you, of course, if you're doing some part of maintenance work. If you're doing the internal audits, you will see every year companies that has changed at least slightly. And of course, you have to take into account these things. And especially if you're working as a vCISO, then this is something that you will have to be very much aware. So you simply have to make sure that you're kind of understanding these changes in the context of the company if you're doing these continuous jobs. This is very important for you actually to to do your job properly, because without it, you can't really succeed. Okay, the last challenge was getting in front of a client, having a consistent pipeline for potential projects. Yes, so selling is hard. It's probably the job that the consultants like the least, right? But if you don't sell, you simply, fail as a business. So you have to sell. And again, this brings me back to my main point of this webinar. And if you have these continuous jobs, you will have to sell less. I'm not saying that you will not have to sell. You will still have to sell, but you're not going to have to sell so aggressively if you're doing as if you're doing only these one-time jobs. And yeah, again, if you want to learn some details on how to sell to clients, you can take a look at my beginners course, also to my advanced course for consultants. There are several tips on actually how to start and do this selling process. All right, yeah, let's move on to the conclusion and then wrap up the webinar. So, even though that these, consulting services bring in less money per client, they can actually ultimately be more profitable for your consultancy. And of course, to help you with these continuous jobs, you can organize, you can use any of these tools that I've shown you from Advisera. And by the way, you can also organize a call with our partner manager, and he will actually be able to show you how Conformio works, how Company Training Academy works, but he will actually also explain you how you can get listed in this directory. So if you want any of these things, please click this link that we've shared with you now and schedule a call with our partner manager. Okay, great. Yeah, let's move on to the Q&A session. So you can send me any questions that you have, and again, I'll be glad to answer any of your questions. Let me just see if anything came in. Before actually, while I'm waiting for any of your additional questions, I'll just go through a couple of things, a couple of announcements. First thing, you can actually reach out to me directly through email, and you'll see my email address on the screen now, so feel free to send me an email. Second, you can follow me on LinkedIn and YouTube. So on my LinkedIn profile, I regularly post news from this cybersecurity compliance world. So if you want to kind of keep up to date, you can follow me there. And on my YouTube channel, I publish lots of videos around ISO 27001, NIS2, DORA. Very soon I'll start publishing videos around 42001, the AI standards. You also have this beginner's course there on YouTube. And also on YouTube, you'll see my Secure and Simple podcast. So if you're a consultant, well, I hope you are a consultant if you are watching this webinar. But anyway, this Secure and Simple podcast is intended specifically for consultants. And there I make interviews with successful consultants, so you can learn quite a lot from them. Okay, and the third thing I wanted to let you know is that my next webinar will be on ISO 27000 implementation using Conformio. So if you want to see in a little bit more detail how you can actually use Conformio to implement ISO 27001, either as an end user or as a consultant, then you can sign up for my next webinar. It will be next Wednesday, and so you can actually see now the links where you can sign up for my webinars on LinkedIn or YouTube or on Advisera. Okay, good. Yeah, let me see questions. So there is a question that I received before the webinar. It was from Alberta, and the question was how to become a quality consultant to SMEs in my niche. Well, first of all, you have to select what your niche is. And from my experience, you should select this based on your previous experience. So for example, if you are, I don't know, mechanical engineer working for, and you worked for auto industry, then perhaps it would be the best if you focus on, a quality consultant specifically for auto industry, because this is where you might have the biggest experience, because then you actually can provide some, I would say, additional insight for your clients that maybe someone who doesn't have experience with the auto industry, that these other people then would not be able to do. So if you want to be successful in selling your consulting services, you need to differentiate. In other words, you have to find a niche where you're specific. And by the way, I explained all of these things about finding a niche and positioning yourself and finding this unique selling proposition in the beginner's course. So please take a look at my beginner's course, and so we also already sent these links in the chat window. Okay, a couple of questions that came in now. So Milton, any advice on VCs and monthly charges for USA? To be honest, I'm not sure, but from what I know, that the consultants in Western Europe and North America are charging the highest rates. And usually these rates go, I don't know, something like 1,500 or 2,000, maybe even $3,000 per day. So it really depends on what kind of services you're providing, what kind of clients you have, but this could be, let's say, kind of range that you might charge in the United States. Okay, Andrew is asking, are you going to share this presentation? Yeah, I'll explain in a minute. I'll explain how you can download this presentation. Let me see if there are any other questions coming in. Okay, if not, great. Let me then wrap up the webinar. A question from Edward. Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. Well, thank you, Edward, for attending the webinar. And yeah, let me then wrap up the webinar. So as I mentioned, this webinar today was really too short to go into details on how to perform consulting work or how to sell consulting services. Really, this is something that you can find out from these online courses. So today I really wanted to kind of give you an insight that there are also these continuous services that you can where you can actually make maybe even more money. And yeah, regarding the PDF presentation deck, we'll publish this PDF presentation deck. We'll publish the link where you can download this PDF presentation deck. And if you joined through LinkedIn or YouTube, then you should simply stay on the same page where you're watching the webinar now, and then in about 10 minutes from now you will see a link in the comment section. So just stick for maybe 10 minutes, open the comment section, and there you will see the link to download this presentation deck. And if you joined through Zoom, then we will send you this link to the presentation deck through email. So just take a look at and this will be latest by tomorrow morning, so open your email by tomorrow morning and you will see this link for the presentation deck. And yeah, this is basically also, yeah, you'll also see a link to a short survey, so I would really appreciate if you have time to open it and give me the feedback, so just for me to know how I was doing on this webinar, so that I can improve it. And this would be all. Thank you very much for your participation, and I hope you have enjoyed this webinar. Have a nice day.